Alright, for this next example we have a situation where we cannot just multiply one equation by a number, a nice number anyway, to get variables to drop out. Remember, for the addition method our goal is to get coefficients on the same variable that are opposites of each other. Okay, and if you look at the x's and you look at the y's, I can't very easily turn a 3 into a 4 or a 4 into a 3 by multiplication. Same with the 2 and the 3 and the 3 and the 2. There's not really a nice way to do that. And so there are many times like this where you have to actually multiply both equations and build them up to an LCD, a least common, well, actually an LCM, a least common multiple, similar to the least common denominator idea. And so if you have, let's look at the 2 and the 3s, the numbers are smaller. The least common multiple for 2 and 3 is 6. Okay, so it's would be a good idea to try to make both of these a 6, one positive and one negative. To do that, obviously the 2 has to be multiplied by a 3 and the 3 has to be multiplied by a 2. One of them, of course, has to be multiplied by a negative. I'll go ahead and put the negative on the top row there. So what we're going to do is multiply this top row, multiply by a negative 3. Okay, so negative 3 times the negative 2 will give me the 6 that I'm looking for. And the bottom row, the bottom equation, is going to be multiplied by a positive 2. Alright, so 2 times the negative 3 will be negative 6. Negative 3 times the negative 2 will be positive 6. And those will then be opposites. But remember that we have to multiply every term by that number. And same on the bottom, the 2 has to multiply every term. Alright, so as we bring this across and multiply, negative 3 times 3 is negative 9x. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6y. Negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. Okay. On the bottom, 2 times 4x is 8x. 2 times negative 3y is negative 6y. And 2 times negative 8 is negative 16. Okay. Notice now that the y's have opposite coefficients, the 6 and negative 6, and that they are the least common multiple for the 2 and the 3. Now we're going to add like terms. Negative 9 plus 8 gives me negative 1. So there's negative 1x. Positive 6 minus 6 gives me 0 for y, so those drop out. And 15 minus 16 would be a negative 1. So what I really am looking at is negative x equals negative 1. The 0y drops out. And of course, if I divide out the negative 1, negative 1 over negative 1 is 1. Okay, so that gives me my x value. I still need the y value, so we're not done yet. To find the y value, I just take this x and plug it in. I can put it in either of the original two equations. I'll go with the top one, it doesn't really matter. So I'll take 3 times 1 minus 2y equals negative 5. So the 1 goes in for the x in the first equation. 3 minus 2y equals negative 5. Subtract 3. Negative 2y is negative 8. Divide out the negative 2. The y value would then be 4. Alright, so now I have my x value 1, my y value 4. The solution has to be the ordered pair 1, 4. Okay, let's box that in. Now just to double check, 1, 4 plug the 1 in for the x, the 4 in for the y. 3 times 1 would be 3. 4 times negative 2 would be negative 8. 3 and negative 8 gives you negative 5. That works out. 4 times 1 is 4. Negative 3